In Jamaica, opposition spokesman on finance Audley says the government has betrayed the Jamaican people. He says the government has done little to improve the standard of living and has instead imposed harsh tax packages. More in this report from Leslie Ann Sherwood.
For opposition spokesman on finance Audley Shaw, the Portia Simpson Miller administration is a failure. He believes the government has shown scant regard for the poor they profess ever so often to love. According to Mr. Shaw, 20% of Jamaicans are living below the poverty line. The cost of basic food items has increased by 40%, and the local currency has depreciated by at least 34% over the last 3 years against the US dollar. But despite the harsh realities, Mr. Shaw says that didn't prevent Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips from tabling a $10.6 billion tax package for the upcoming fiscal year. He argues that Jamaicans are tired of the hypocrisy.
One constituent told me after the minister's latest confession of love for the poor, "Tell Mr. Phillips that poor people tired of his love while we have hungry belly. We want jobs and a better life, not handouts for the rest of our lives. We want to move from dependency to independency." Hallelujah. But lo and behold, the taxman cometh.
The opposition is against the $7 per litre tax on gasoline imposed by the government. The measure takes effect on March 18, 2015, and should rake in $6.4 million. But Mr. Shaw argues that the government decided to tax petrol in the face of falling oil prices on the international markets. He says without this new tax, the falling prices would have assisted manufacturers and provided more disposable income to families.
The minister gleefully told us, "We have seen a 30% reduction in the price of electricity." I thought I saw a smile on his face when he said that. Celebration time, we thought. But our minister says, "Not so fast. Hold the applause. The tax man cometh." Since the price for gas gone down, why don't we stick them with another $7 per litre gas tax? Yes. And JPS bill gone down. Let's break another election promise and stick them with another GCT on electricity. Never mind if the lower prices for fuel and electricity would help reduce transportation and food costs.
Meanwhile, Mr. Shaw says the reimposition of GCT on electricity for residential customers is another act of betrayal by the government. Shaw reminded the Prime Minister of her 2012 budget presentation, where she promised to remove the tax, having heard the cries of poor people.
Does the Honourable Prime Minister still listen to the voice of the people? And more importantly, does she still feel their pain? Does the Prime Minister still listen to the voice of the people? Does the Prime Minister still feel the pain of the people? Or are her election promises mere vehicles to state power, only to be discarded when it is convenient to do so? Mr. Speaker, this is betrayal. And it is a grudgeful attitude that the people and the economy must not benefit from the oil price cut.
And Shaw is also questioning the government's decision to only grant children of public sector workers reduced interest rates on their student loans.
It is not public sector workers alone who have been ravaged by the reckless policies of this government over the past 3 years. This is a discriminatory policy which should be reconsidered. It's not public sector workers and their families alone are hurting.
Leslie Ann Sherwood for CEEN Caribbean News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Shaw is also questioning Dr. Peter Phillips's decision to place a hedge against future petrol prices.
How was this hedge insurance procured and from which company? Was the government's procurement policy used in selecting the hedge company? What are the terms and conditions of the policy? What is the cap on the price of crude oil that would trigger a reimbursement to the government? If the cap price is not reached, is there any partial refund of the premium? No. What is the actual cost of the premium and the schedule of payments? The minister said that of the $6.4 billion, $2.5 billion was going towards losses that Petrojam had occasioned. And without saying so, left the impression that the remainder, $3.9 billion, would be used towards the hedge. That's how I figured it out.